We have been getting so many calls from our great listeners asking us if we would do a money management show. Well, we can't just do them. We got to find the best out there. And we found the best. We found Warren A. Marmorstein, CPA and financial advisor. He's actually on our morning show also. Let's welcome. Hi, Warren.
Hi, Steve. Glad to be here.
Man, I am so glad you're here. We've gotten so many people saying, why don't you do a money show? Because we do lawyers, we do doctors, we do home improvement, but we don't have a money show. So this is perfect. Let's start off, first of all, we want you to go watch the show live right now by going to www.marmorstein. I better spell this for you. You spell it.
Okay. Yeah. Marmorstein. Marmorstein.
And it's marmorsteinwealth.com. You can go there right now, watch today's show live, and down the road, they can actually, later on, they'll be able to actually come back and watch today's show, maybe next month, month after, but you're going to be setting it up on your computer. So if you miss portions of the show, it will eventually be on his website. So we got to start off. Tell everybody about your background, because that's the most important thing.
Sure. Again, a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. By background, Steve, first of all, I've lived in South Florida for now 33 years. I'm originally born and bred in New York, graduated State University in New York at Albany with an accounting degree. Became a CPA pretty much immediately after I graduated school, worked in New York for about 3 years, transferred down to South Florida. I spent the first 10 years of my career in public accounting. The firm was called Arthur Anderson and Company.
Oh, little company.
Little company. I left after my 10th year, a few years before partner. My title at the time was senior manager, because I was recruited by a client. Client was a big growing company, had a need for a CFO. Initially, they asked me as the senior manager at Arthur Anderson to do a headhunt for them to find a CFO. And ultimately, the CEO, president, said to me, hey, Marmorstein, you're better than any of these people that you're giving me resumes. Is it possible that I could recruit you away from Arthur Anderson? So they made me a very attractive offer. I took the job. I was their CFO. Now, Steve, at the time, it was a publicly held company. But on the smaller side of publicly held companies, was in the healthcare delivery business. And the time that I was with them, if you will, I enhanced responsibilities. And in addition to CFO, I became their senior vice president. I was in charge of risk management and information technology and human resources, of course, in addition to finance and accounting. Part of their senior management team. Basically, the senior management team during my tenure there, we became, through a series of raising monies, acquisitions, and massive internal growth, we were the 42nd fastest growing public company in America my first year there.
Very impressive.
Very impressive. So anyway, I was there for 5 years. To make a long story short, the company was so successful, it was acquired by yet a larger company, and the senior management team in those situations generally asked to leave because they're replaced with their people. So that happened, and I kind of was in my mid-30s at the time. I thought about, what do I want to do? I said, well, to this point, I'm a CPA, but I feel like I could really provide some value to people if I enhance that licensure and start doing some personal financial planning, help them with their investments and taxes and so forth. So over the next few years, I obtained what was a total of 10 additional licenses, which fall in the categories of securities and insurance. And I've been providing personal financial planning. We still do a little bit of business services, but predominantly personal financial planning, predominantly catered to a more affluent individual. But we offer a whole array of products and services, and this is what I've been doing for the last 23 years.
You know, I hear the word financial advisor. What is actually as a financial advisor? What do you do?
Okay, well, that's a great question. First of all, I want to answer you, first of all, by my licensure. I told you I have 10 different licenses. So in the securities side, we call them series, and then there's a number. And so, for example, Series 6 means you're a mutual fund representative. You're licensed to sell mutual funds. Series 7, you're called a securities broker. You're allowed to sell mutual funds and now stocks and bonds, okay, etc. So I'm a Series 6, a Series 7, a Series 63, a Series 65, a Series 60, a Series 79, and a Series 24. There's a lot of advanced designations there, so quite a lot on the security side.
Is there anything you can't do?
Don't practice law or medicine.
You're okay then.
Yeah. Now, then on the insurance side, I got my insurance licenses and licensed for life insurance, annuities, health insurance, disability insurance. Of course, I still continue to offer CPA services to my clients. And typically what I do is bundle the services. So when they come to me as a financial advisor, it's a complete comprehensive package of products and services that we're able to offer. It's not just investment advice only or taxes only. And actually, we call this wealth management, that we're managing money, but that we're including things like estate planning and retirement planning and financial planning and health care and asset protection, as I said, and tax reduction. And on the investment side, something that most stockbrokers don't do is they're not able to recommend and sell principal protected products because they don't have any. But my insurance license provides me with a artillery of principal protected products. So I break investments into, we have principal protected investments, and then we have speculative investments we're in the market. So for me, I'm a financial advisor because of my licensure. I'm a financial advisor because I have at this point 33 years experience as a financial professional. But in direct response to your question, I love talking about this. There is no license called financial advisor. There's not even a school that you take a class and that you graduate and pass an exam and you're called a financial advisor. So there's no licensure or designation. A financial advisor, when it comes down to it, is a person's self-proclamation, their self-description of what they do for a living. And as a matter of fact, I have we call it a white paper in the industry. It's an educational material. I'm very much, educationally oriented. So I have prepared, it's about a half an hour read in my website, which is www.marmorsteinwealthmanagement.com. That's my securities website. My insurance and CPA website, www.marmorsteinfinancialgroup.com. Either website, you could download my free white paper, and it's called What Your Financial Advisor Doesn't Want You to Know. And what I'm talking about in there is a lot of what is a financial advisor. So by the time somebody is done reading that, they're able to assess the credentials of the person that they're using and determine what are they really looking for and determine whether they have a good fit or that they need to find another advisor.
Do people know what they're looking for? When they're out, say they have some wealth, they have some nice assets, do they really know when they come to your office what they're looking for?
They really don't. And very unusual for someone to say, I want a stock, I want a bond, I want an annuity. So the process really involves, first of all, a exchange of information. So, for example, a salesperson when someone says, I don't know what I want, the salesperson takes out the application, the brochure. It's what he sells to everybody. He has a good commission on it. So he feels like one product fits all, and someone's saying, what do you recommend? He recommends what he makes a good buck on. Okay, that's not a financial advisor. That is a salesperson.
But they might call themselves
one. And they do. And that's why, again, my white paper you got to read. Because if you learned that your guy has, for example, one license, and through that one license he could only sell one type of product, okay, then the deck of cards is already set against you.
Kind of
because
a
when you
conflict of interest, isn't
absolutely,
it?
you
Right.
say, what do you recommend? And he's recommending the only thing he has to sell. Okay, but that's not really what.
So let me ask you: if I come in, I say, "This is what I want, Warren," and you know I'm making some bad mistakes, you're not just an order taker.
Absolutely.
So what do you do?
Right. I explain that all the time. I'm not here to just take orders. As a matter of fact, if you give me an order and I don't think it's suitable, I'm going to say I'm not going to execute that order, and here's why. So this is the process. Rather than describe the product, okay, I go through an exchange with people where I want to first understand your financial profile at this time and what your future financial goals are. So I'm going to do an intake. I'm going to ask you questions such as, what's your income? How does it compare to your standard of living? Do you have a retirement plan? Are you saving for retirement? What's your tax bracket? Are you married? Are you single? Do you have children? Is it important to leave money to the next generation or not? Is there any life insurance? What's your health care protection plan? On and on and on and on. How is the estate set up? What are we trying to accomplish? Which basically falls into three categories. First, they have to make a decision with their money: principal protected or principal at risk. And principal protected will generally mean lower rates of return. And principal at risk is not a guarantee, but the opportunity for higher rates of return. Most people would do well to have both, but in any event, that's a very personal question.
What about, I'm listening because I work with a lot of estate planning attorneys. You don't do much different than an estate planning attorney does.
As a matter of fact, I do a lot of work for estate planning attorneys. They say, I'm talking to someone and they can't really express what they have or what they want. Would you go figure that out and then come in with them and I'll draft the documents?
Wow.
Yes. So anyway, but the concept is not to name a product, a stock, a bond, or a mutual fund. The process is, what are our financial goals? What are our objectives? Is principal protection important or not? Is income important or not, or are we looking for growth? Are we looking for a combination of income or growth? Are we looking first to grow our money and we'll take the income in the future? Are we looking to leave money, as I said, to the next generation? Are we trying to reduce our taxes? So in other words, there's no one product fits all. Every product has, I'll call, attributes. So there's 10 attributes of a product, right? We're trying to get the product of best fit, and every household's going to be unique for the reasons I said: their age, their risk tolerance, etc. So once I understand what they're trying to accomplish, then I sit down and I prepare a financial plan. Now, the financial plan at that point is still not specific as to which company's products we'd be using. It's a financial plan in terms of an asset allocation out of stocks, out of bonds, mutual funds, annuities, life insurance, and just cash at the bank. How should we allocate our money into those categories, and how much do we need in those categories so on an overall basis we accomplish our financial objectives? Once the client sees the recommended financial plan, we may tweak it a little bit, but generally they're going to say, that sounds right. Whose company are we going to use for a life insurance policy? Whose mutual fund are we going to buy for that? And at that point, frankly, I'm independent of brand, which is a major value for the clientele. Because if your financial advisor works for like a large wirehouse broker dealer firm who has their own brand of products, I could tell you more often, sell. Absolutely, more often than not. Now, interestingly enough, those branded products are sold through the independent channel along with other products that only sell through the independent channel. So let's use mutual funds as an example. If you went to an advisor from Smith Barney and got to the point of, okay, mutual funds would be good, typically out came the Smith Barney portfolio. But there's 10,000 or so mutual funds in the country. So depending upon, again, if we're looking for income or growth, do we want domestic funds, international funds? Do we want a fund that invests only a particular sector of the economy, not the broad economy, whatever it may be? I'm actually going to query 10,000 funds being independent of brand.
How do you keep up with everything?
I have a great staff. I spend a lot of hours. Again, with 33 years of financial experience, I just know what I'm doing.
Well, we're going to go to break, and we come back. I want to talk about doing your due diligence when you're finding a real financial advisor.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Warren, give everybody your phone number.
Yeah, we have a great number. It's easy to remember. It's toll-free. It's 844-MONEY-64, 844-MONEY-64. Call us.
We'll be right back with Warren Marmorstein.
Don't lose your money to a stock market crash. Call Warren Marmorstein, CPA and financial advisor, in business for over 30 years with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. He will show you how to invest that when the market goes down, you lose nothing. Yes, that's right, lose nothing. And when the market goes up, you earn up to 13.5% annually, 100% tax-free. Yes, up to 13.5% annually and 100% tax-free. Why risk your money, your IRA, 401k, and your retirement to stock market loss and taxes when there's a better way? The first 10 callers will receive absolutely free a personalized no stock market loss, principal protected, earn up to 13.5% annually, tax-free retirement plan. Call Warren Marmorstein, toll free, at 844-MONEY-64. That's area code 844-MONEY-64. 64. Qualified callers must be able to invest a minimum of $50,000 in lump sum or over time. Call 844-MONEY-64. 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 Call now.
And we're back. We're sitting here with Warren A. Marmorstein, CPA and financial advisor. Warren, you cover all of Palm Beach, all of Broward, all of Dade, and you will come out to them also if they're in those areas.
Sure, absolutely. Free in-office consultation. In certain situations, we could arrange to come to your home. Obviously, no obligation, so call us. If you're not in the very local area, we are actually licensed in a multitude of states, so feel free to call.
We have so many people in Stewart that listen to the show, Fort Pierce, and you can just call Warren at his office, and you can work something out. I'm sure Warren will be more than happy to work something out.
Well, we have an office in Palm Beach Gardens. It's not too far for the Jewett and Super folks.
So, and I want you to give everybody your website because they can actually watch our show right now on your website.
Okay, well, right now the show is being broadcast at www.marmorsteinwealth.com, MARMORSTEIN, marmorsteinwealth.com.
It's really important as to the services you provide. But I think what's really important is they have to be able to trust you. So just talk a little bit about due diligence when you're looking for a financial advisor. You are a true financial advisor.
Right.
And I after just our first half of the show, you got to really make sure that it's just not somebody hanging a shingle up calling themselves a financial advisor.
Exactly. And, sometimes people don't know where to look. And they find somebody, and, a man is dressed like me today, and they want to put some, credibility in that individual, so they retain that individual. That's a mistake, right? That's rolling the dice and hope you get somebody that's really best fit to be your advisor, which, as I talked about before, you want to select somebody that has the proper education, someone who has the proper experience. You don't want someone who's 2 years out of school, 5 years out of school. You don't want someone who's 1 or 2 licenses, but someone perhaps like me with 10. You want somebody also, as you say, that's honest. So what you want to do is you have to start by doing some due diligence. Again, that free white paper that I offer, what your financial advisor doesn't want you to know, it goes through what you should do when you conduct that due diligence, and it actually concludes with 20 specific questions to ask the person sitting in front of you who you're considering retaining as your financial advisor. If that person doesn't want to answer those questions, that person's not for you. And depending upon the answers that they provide, you'll know whether that person is or not the right advisor for you. So basically, I'm asking, when you do your due diligence, you check out what their licensures are. And then beyond the licensures, I reference people to the regulatory bodies that govern each of the licenses, so that the consumer should absolutely find out, have there been any consumer complaints against this individual? Has this individual ever been sued? If not, litigated, perhaps arbitrated. And then, of course, ask for references. Don't accept references with the last name of the person that you're interviewing.
Right.
Get real references. In my particular case, I actually have a pre-prepared handout. When somebody puts their trust and confidence in me, kind of on the blind, I say to them, isn't it important to you that you know that I'm honest and credible and I'll be responsible with your money because you didn't ask? And they say, yeah, of course. And I give them my pre-prepared handout. It is every phone number, every website of all the regulatory bodies, and everything about me from the day that I graduated State University in New York at Albany in 1981. It's including professional references, bankers, attorneys, lawyers, and I think I have 40 or 50 clients on that pre-prepared handout that have all asked me, could they serve as a character reference to help me gain more clientele for people who wish to reference me. So ask. There's no question that's a bad question. The only bad thing is not to ask those questions.
And you offer free consultation, which is really important.
Oh, yeah, we do. And actually something I want to mention about that. Back to who is a financial advisor. Interestingly enough, a stockbroker who calls himself a financial advisor, and the public generally says my stockbroker and my financial advisor as if they're synonyms. Sometimes an insurance agent will call themselves a financial advisor, or the public may say, well, he sold me annuities and he's a financial advisor. This is really interesting. There's no federal or state law, okay, that allows a stockbroker or an insurance agent to charge fees for their financial advice. And that is because there's no federal or state body that recognizes a stockbroker or a insurance agent as a financial expert that they're worthy of charging for their time. So instead, a stockbroker and an insurance agent, which are 2 of my 10 licenses, but a stockbroker and an insurance agent, they earn a living on a commission platform. You buy a product, they earn a commission. So while I offer a free financial plan, the stockbroker or the insurance agent, if that's their only licensure, offering a free financial plan, more often than not, that free financial plan, well, for sure it's free because they're not allowed to charge for it.
Right.
And secondly, okay, I'll tell you, by the time you get to the last page, it's recommending to buy the products that they sell so they can earn commission. Okay. In my situation, a free financial plan is a real free financial plan. While typically my financial plan will lead to stage 2, the person says, I want to execute most or all of this, then I can execute those things, and then there's fees and commissions involved for the purchase of product. But in terms of the financial plan, I've even had situations where someone comes to me and says, you know, my brother-in-law is a stockbroker and I want him to earn the commission. But frankly, he works for a large wirehouse brand. I know he's going to show me their portfolio. I think other things besides what he's going to show me probably will make sense for me. I'd like to pay you for your time, and this is amongst my other licensure amongst the 10. I have many that recognize me as a financial expert to be able to charge for my time on a fixed fee or an hourly basis, much the same way your CPA or lawyer does. I do that in a fiduciary manner, meaning with my client's best interest in mind. And here's another quick thing. The stockbroker, the insurance agent, they don't by law adhere to the fiduciary standard. I think the public would fall off their chair if they knew that the person who's handling their money does not have a legal duty to act in their client's best interest.
Wow.
Instead, they have what's called a suitability standard. They need to make sure it's suitable, but not necessarily meet the criteria of their client's best interest. So my financial plan is a real financial plan. All right. I don't care personally. I have no compensatory interest, whether it's a stock, a bond, a mutual fund, annuity, insurance, or that, and the other, nor any financial interest because I'm independent of brand as to what company's products we use. I'm going to search for the most competitive products at the best term that's going to fit my client's needs.
What if somebody wants to use a brother or a friend? I'll bet you could talk them out of that right now.
Well, you know, a relationship with the family and money is a very sort of odd relationship.
Because you've seen it all.
I've seen it all, and we all know families where someone's not talking to someone about money. But as I said, I guess I didn't finish the story. Someone will say to me, I want to pay you for your financial plan, and the portion of the plan where I'm going to buy stocks and mutual funds, I'm going to bring that to my brother-in-law for the commission. But it's more important to me that someone like you create my financial plan, not my brother-in-law.
Something doesn't seem fair about that.
That's,
you do all the work.
Yes. Well, I'll get paid for my time in order to do that. But again, stage 2, if I implement, products generally will have some sort of a fee, an acquisition fee, a redemption fee, or a commission. So if I'm using now another license on a transactional basis, I'm going to get paid for stage 2.
We've got a couple more minutes, and I want you, I told you, this goes by fast.
It does.
First of all, give everybody your phone number.
Sure. Okay. Again, it's 844-MONEY-64. That's toll
Love
free.
this number.
Toll free, 844-MONEY-64. 2 websites, www.marmorsteinwealthmanagement.com. And that's for my securities practice. And then there is www.marmorsteinfinancialgroup.com, which is my insurance and CPA practice.
Listen, 30 minutes isn't enough. You've got about 40 seconds. Tell everybody again why they should retain your company.
Okay. Well, quickly, I guess my differentiating factors is A, I'm a real financial advisor, but B, okay, it's because I have 10 different licenses, so I'm completely objective as to the types of products that are going to be the best fit for your circumstances. Next, I'm independent of brand, so once we know the types of products, I don't have a proprietary product that I show you because I have a quota that I must make or I earn more commission on the house brand. We're going to survey everything which is out there so I could bring you back the most competitive terms for what it is that you're looking for.
Well, this 30 minutes has gone by so fast. This was such an easy show to do. Your name is Warren Marmorstein. He's a CPA and financial advisor. He has offices in Fort Lauderdale, in Boca. Give him a call. I mean, even for a second opinion, give him a call. He's on our morning show as our expert also. Again, one more time, the phone number is
844-MONEY-64, toll free 844-MONEY-64. Call me now.
Warren Marmorstein. Hey, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, Steve.
Loved having you on.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
And we'll see you guys next week.